Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about unifying hardware and software learning one polygon at a time. Quite a strange topic. So let's start off with who knows who Faronics is? Anyone? Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to change it up a bit. We have a bit of a few fun charges that we're going to hand out to you guys. A few random questions we're going to throw in just to, keep you guys all focused and busy with regards to that. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight around Faronics and who Faronics is. So Faronics itself, just a little bit of background, was founded by Farid, the CEO, Ali, in 1996. Interesting fact is that they were actually a hardware vendor all the way back in Canada, selling hardware, and they actually went into software development, and they started basically with the flagship, as many of you guys know now, is DFreeze. Now, just a quick question around DFreeze for anyone that might know this. There's quite a bit of prizes up for grabs as well. So Fiona, she's joining us from Faronics itself as well. She's the international channel manager for Faronics. Ushman unfortunately could not make it due to flight constraints on his side, and he will not be in time for today's session. So a quick question around DFreeze. When was DFreeze initially created, or when was it introduced within the market internationally? Do you guys know how old it is or when it was created?
1999.
There you go, 1999, brilliant. So it was actually 1999 when the first DFreeze version was shipped out. All the way back, it was still your XPs and all that. And then of course, it's now basically reaching 29 years that it was around. And a lot of the companies itself adopted it, universities adopted it. Interesting fact, with regards to HEITSA, as you guys are sitting here, 86% of universities across South Africa is making use of Faronics products. So it's quite well integrated. Now, let's quickly look at the full picture. What is a polygon? Can any of you guys tell me what a polygon is? Yes, indeed so. Thank you so much for that. So basically what a polygon is, it's a closed figure that's making up of straight lines, start off, and it needs at least 3 lines to connect itself, and it is 2-dimensional. So a very simplistic tile, so to speak. But if we actually look at ourselves and we're looking at the environments themselves, is that your university itself is not a 2-dimensional arena or solutions that's implemented or anything like that. Your environment consists of many areas. It's actually 3-dimensional and not 2-dimensional. DFreeze itself is only one tile. It's making up a portion of areas that it actually assists with universities to safeguard their workstations, and traditionally it's basically been used within your lab environment. So that's pretty much what a polygon itself represents if we take it back to the environments. But for the labs and for the environments themselves, it consists of much more shapes and tiles that's actually creating that final view. So if you're looking at your students that's coming in, they need certain software. If you're looking at your software, you need certain software in the labs. You need it at the right time. You might have to remove it also, specifically around license and license management. When it comes to the hardware itself, that needs to be managed. The individuals that actually forms part of assisting in the labs, like your student staff and all that, it might, for the outsider looks, not really as an important task, but it assists many of the universities to make sure that you guys are not working 16, 18 hours and the lab remains open for the students. So there's so many areas and angles of a lab that actually, and a university that makes it successful, and we need to look at the full picture around that. Now, when we actually look at Faronics Cloud and a cloud platform, the cloud platform itself is, of course, the next movement around any of the solutions out there. it actually creates the opportunity for you to create multi-dimensional views around your environment, managing them, and also taking a hold of that environment. Now, a quick question around MDM. Do you guys know what MDM is standing for? Can I have a hand? Yes. Mobile device management. Okay, so MDM is just a component within that Faronics cloud environment. It actually assists in creating key areas, and it might differ from, not even from university to university, but actually from functional area to functional area. If you take the guys that's doing the information technology and related courses versus the guys that's, going to the library, it's the same machines that's sitting there, might be a different version, and it's also a different requirement for each and every one of those machines. Looking at cloud, it consists of, and I almost wanted to say like a pick list of different solutions in there. We have software updater, we're going to talk about that just now. We also have usage stats or asset management. Some of you guys know it's something that's quite close to my heart when it comes to asset management, and we're definitely going to talk about that. Power safe, defreeze is also there. It's still operational, it's still functioning, but it is forming a tile. So there is two versions of defreeze that you guys are aware of. The on-premise one that's been utilized by many universities, that's going back to the early 2000s, up to where it's now in the cloud. It's still doing exactly what it's doing, but it is expanding on its capability. Now, the one of the products that we're just going to have a look at is Faronics Insight. And what Faronics Insight basically is doing is it gives us the lab lecturers the ability to control the classroom. It gives them the ability to just have your normal discussions in the classes, taking back that control, locking down keyboards and mouse at that point in time on the whole classroom or selective machines itself. It also gives them the ability to share the internet access or break it for specific machines itself. And it gives them just that sense of taking back the type of control. The next stop, of course, is for Insight to go to the cloud. So what does this mean? The moment you take the Insight ability for the teachers to actually take control over a class into the cloud, you can actually, for the first time now, move to the point where the individual can sit anywhere and you can actually have the same class experience as if they were in the classroom itself. Of course, you still have your ability to manage a lot of large machines itself as well on the local environment, but also for those individuals that's not in the environment, but they are connected to the internet, they can actually now have that connection working for them. You can control them and do exactly what you will be able to do when they were in the classroom itself. Also, the ability itself is expanding yourself where the teacher itself and the multiple teacher consoles that you're running into the environment is visible for the cloud interface. So we can see how many teacher consoles are there. You can see how many student consoles are there. And that control itself will basically be available for you to manage, or your lecturers to manage those individuals. So it gives them a lot of ability around Insight. The next stop, of course, is Insight that is going to the cloud. Then we're going to talk about hardware and software inventory. And this is something that is quite close to my heart because, believe it or not, if you're looking at hardware and software or asset management within the university, that is one of your key health views or pillars that you can actually get in a university. And the reason for that is quite simple. If there's a problem with your hardware and you can't take control over any asset changes and asset losses, and it's carrying on for too long period of time, your students are impacted. Lecturing and lecturers itself is, of course, having a problem because the labs are not adequately running or machines are not available. And then also, if you're looking at the back office, if you look at universities, it's becoming such a big entity. It is extremely difficult to keep track of all those assets. Now, let's have a quick look on asset management. Who had to do asset management within the last month? Yes. And how difficult was asset management? How long did it take you to do a complete asset management from your environment? I was just talking about hardware. 10 minutes? An hour? Days? Okay. So that's the problem with asset management. By the time that you are finished with your assessment, you need to pretty much start over with large environments. So with your inventory management within cloud, you will always have an up-to-date asset list. It actually goes and it's doing a full hardware agnostic view of the environment. It tells you your memory that's loaded onto that machine, your CPU that basically is loaded. It gives you inside information of the complete environment, and you can pull it in a few seconds, put it into a CSV or a PDF and send it across. And it is to the point where you can actually now trust whatever the system is providing you, because there's no human interaction. We have seen where they are doing asset management, they count the boxes and they say, oh, okay, I can see there's 50 machines in the lab, and that's brilliant. You on the front line might not have the time to go and verify those machines. So by the time that you get to those machines, yeah, well, the box is standing there, but it's empty. Or a CPU is missing, or it's broken. And when it comes to your hardware and some of the warranties that you have taken out on those machines, and they're expensive, is the time taken where you realize there is a problem on some of those machines because they're not reporting back, they are not starting up. It's taking too long, and some of the universities have lost the opportunity to send those machines back for a warranty claim. Now, if you knew about it 6 months earlier, you could have prevented that. And that's what basically, if you look at inventory management, is providing you. When last did that machine check in? And then, of course, we get to software inventory and software inventory management. Now, a quick question around software. If you guys are tasked to provide a complete list of each and every software that is installed within the environment, how long will it take you to do that list? 20 minutes? A minute? An hour? Days? So, when it comes to software inventory management, it's not just about what you think is installed in the environment, but what is actually installed. Because remember, the larger the environment, the higher up the ladder goes, and where you are removed from the bottom end, the more difficult it becomes to manage it. And the reason for that is a lot of individuals are standing between you and that machine, meaning that they can install anything on that machine. Specifically, if they are within the lab admin side, they can install any software. So you need to know, pulling from that list right up to the point of what is installed. And with software inventory within your cloud, you can actually go a step further. You can say, right, I can actually see what was installed on which machines, how long has it been running, and the full list around that. And then, of course, we get now software updater. The nice thing about Faronics Cloud is that it's consistently and continuously evolving. Software updater, it's going to be revamped. There's going to be over 3,600 applications that you can install with software updater. Extremely easy to get that software installed. It actually becomes what they call a shopping cart. You go and select your applications that needs to be installed, control it on that specific environment, and have it installed and delivered there. You can actually take it a step further around software updater. And you can say, right, I'm now selecting my list. And I say, right, these are the machines that needs to be installed, but just in this lab. And you drive it with a policy. And the same gets applied to your library. One of the other issues and complexities universities are also experiencing is that there's some of the solutions that is available that they start driving and installing in the environment. But the problem around those solutions is that it is keeping around 1 or 2 or maybe 3 individuals. And if they are sitting with a problem around what actually, how it operates and how it works, and those keeping individuals are not there anymore, you are sitting with an issue where you can't get the software out. You have the ability with software updater to install it at a drop of a hat within the environment by just selecting. Also, one of the other abilities is, and this is coming back to your application development. Application deployment and version control. Is you get to a point where sometimes you need to remove applications due to license changes or license constraints. Where are they installed? How quickly can I get them off without reimaging the whole environment? And of course, with software updater, you can also take that control and say, right, this specific application, I need to basically get it removed in the environment. And of course, the overall view, the version. What version is installed where? Is it up to date? Because it's not just one thing to install software, but to start deploying version control over it. Because some of the software, you cannot actually upgrade it due to other application dependencies that you might have on that. Now, taking this back to the full picture itself, and we had a quick discussion around a polygon. This is where it comes to the environment itself. How do you actually gear up the environment to have a full holistic view around that specific environment? What changes needs to be done in the environment? How can you take control over that? And then also to simplify it, because as good as a solution is, the more complex or complexity has been added to that solution, the difficult it becomes for the university and specific individuals to maintain it, or even when it is supported by external parties within different divisions. The problem around that, of course, is that specific departments might take a day or two before they can respond to you. You can't get your new software out. You don't have the ability to provide asset assessment at 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. You don't have the ability to provide a full list of software that is installed. And then the question around that is, who's using the software or who last used the software itself? From inside itself, the ability for the lecturers to take back that control in the classroom itself, or even just the basis of freezing the machines or applying a specific look and feel around a desktop, what it needs to look like, what it basically needs to work within, like for instance a library setup. All of that is now simplified into a cloud version. There is various options around migrating and transitioning to cloud, specifically for the university clients that's sitting with ITTree on-premise. We have had some discussions with you guys already, and then of course we will be here for the next 2 days as well. Come and have the discussions around us, meet the Faronics team itself, and then also let's discuss where your ITTree is going next. How to take control over that environment, but at the same time, keep it as simple and as easy as possible. Now remember, with any solution out there, the more complex it becomes, your skill level to support it, of course, is also stepping up. And one of the key notes around that is it needs to be able to transition to the next individual, because in the end of the day, we all have a limited time that we will be supporting that specific solution within the university before that individual might be moving on to something else. And will it be available for you guys to keep that labs operational? Okay, that's it from my side and from the Faronics team side itself as well. Thank you for your time.